sant yàlla.
looy xaar utal Wave nga scan nga fay te nag doo ci yokku dara.
Jar Oil, the company, have filling stations across the country, and our rates are relatively cheaper than anyone else across the country. Jar Oil is the biggest producer and distributor of cement in the country with the most competitive prices in the market.
In the Gambia, we all move to different paces. Time is money, convenience is power, and now both are in your hands. No more long lines, no more late payments, no more missed chances. Not anymore. Because now the Gambia has its own super app, Zap. One app, one tap, endless convenience. Send money instantly, pay your bills in seconds, shop without borders, pay your rides, order your meal, buy your ticket, deposit and withdraw money for absolutely free. No extra charges, no hidden fees, only on Zap Super App. This is not just convenience. This is confidence. This is the future in your hands. And the best part, Zap is born right here. Built for us, designed for every Gambian home, every Gambian dream. So don't wait in the past. Step into the future. Download Zap today on App Store and Play Store and enjoy endless free services. Call us today on our toll-free number 1666 or on 260-0001. Zap, all in one, all for you. Tap in, zap in.
I'll go through everything he said and to debunk everything one by one if you permit me. Now, see, in fact, I think he should fire his backroom staff. They didn't prepare him well before his outing yesterday in this very studio. And because of that, they failed to prepare him. He exposed himself. And which is a cause for concern for someone who wants to run a country. There are 4 traits that he exhibited yesterday, which confirms to every Gambian that he's not fit to run this country as the president of the Republic of the Gambia. And these 4 traits are: 1, he's shown weakness, he's shown cowardice, he has shown laziness, but also he has shown some form of arrogance. Now let's start with arrogance. What is more arrogant than somebody telling President Barrow to step aside and not to contest for presidential elections? And somebody telling Lawyer Darboe to say step aside and don't lead the UDP into the next elections. This is his line of thinking. The reason why he left the UDP is because he thought that Lawyer Darboe should not be the flag bearer of the UDP and he should be the flag bearer of the UDP. This is arrogance. This is heart of arrogance. The reason why he is going around saying that the president should not run for a 3rd term, he should step aside. Now, who is he to tell Lawyer Darboe not to run in a democratically elected, in a democratic process within the UDP, that he should be given the chance to be the flag bearer? Who is he to tell President but not to contest for a 3rd term? The law allows the president to contest. Who is he? And that's, for me, that is arrogance. Now, he also made serious accusations against the IEC, saying that during the last election, they registered minors and foreigners without substantiating these allegations, undermining the integrity of the very institution that is being given the responsibility to organize elections in this country. And he said it. And remember, when the IEC concluded their registration, they published the list of all registered voters, and people were given the chance in a public way to go to the revising courts and challenge any registration they deemed to be fraudulent. Nobody challenged any single. And now he came here and started to say that IEC registered foreigners and minors without evidence. This is the height of arrogance. Now, and he also said that nobody had experience before in the Gambia before they became president. Jawara had experience. He was a nurse. He did administration. Yeah, Jammeh, yes, you could say from, but he had experience in the military. He was a leader in the military. He led a unit in the military called the military police. So he telling us that he's the most qualified of anybody who will become president.
I think the experience he meant was from a governance point of view.
Yeah, but governance has different levels. Governance is everywhere. governance within the university. I have experience with university governance as well. He has in local governance. So you cannot use your own and think that is the best. But another thing is the laziness. And that is very interesting. He doesn't read. Because he made statements here that, for me, were really worrying. One was, he said the Sepras poll says that 34% will vote for Barrow and 66 will vote against no. From this 66, the majority were undecided. They didn't say who they will vote for. And there are those who are undecided who will vote President Barrow. The second thing is that he talked about some reforms that he said didn't take place. He said defense reforms. I mean, somebody who wants to be president, you don't know that there's nothing called defense reforms? He said civil reforms. As somebody who wants to be president, they don't exist. What exists is security sector reforms. What exists is civil service reforms. And in all these, there has been a lot of work done. You see, all these within the civil service reforms. Horizontal functional review is done. Skills gap assessment is done. Salary categorization standardization is done. Civil service revolving loan scheme has been established. Online recruitment is done. Staff auditing has been done. Coordinate the 2022 Pensions Act and take over the management of pension. Service process simplifications. MyGov portal is up and running. Implementation of electronic records management system, digitalization of archival records, human resource management information system, all established, data inventory, national policy formulation framework, ongoing policy support. You see, all these have been done as part of the civil service to streamline the civil service and make it more efficient. Permanent secretaries retreat is always happening. The ministry coordinates the national. So all this, delivery forum, all these have been done. And he's telling us that nothing has been done about civil service reform. He doesn't understand civil service reform. It's not a destination, it's a process, and the process is ongoing. Now, he said also there are no security sector reform is being done. Look at this. All these are processes. National security policy launched. National security strategy launched. Security sector reform strategy launched. All this in 2020. Key achievement, renewed government commitment SSR, change of mind by security. All these are achievements by the security sector. All these are reforms done under the security sector reform. I don't have time, otherwise I could go all through these things. But all these are key achievements, innovative funding for SSR, alternative source of funding mechanism. All these are done. See, it's a lot. So how can you tell me that security sector reform wasn't done? Security sector reform is not a destination, it's a process, and the process is ongoing. Now, the fundamental flaw he made was that he said the national health insurance scheme is not working anymore. And you asked him. He said he contributed, but now the process has been shelved. The national health insurance scheme is not the most successful in Africa now. It's ongoing. Facilities road. The NHIS is now operating 70 health facilities nationwide, strengthening access to life-saving care for women and children. The scheme's expansion is a major step toward universal health coverage and demonstrate the government's commitment to leaving no one behind. System. So that process is ongoing. 70 hospitals, all these healthcare clinics, these ones, are all registered with the scheme. And the pilot phase is starting with women and children, vulnerable women and children, and they are benefiting from this. So how can someone who wants to lead this don't know the National Health Insurance Scheme is up and running? He's saying it's been shelved, it's not been implemented. That is a cause for concern for someone who wants to run this country. It means that he is lazy and he doesn't read what is happening in this country. But again, he's weak. He doesn't take responsibility. He abdicates responsibility. That is why even if you listen to the Commission of Inquiry, he always blames people. That is why when he's in power, he sets different committees. He calls it delegation. It's abdication and not delegation. Leaders must be strong and make decisions, and you take consequences for decisions. And that brings his cowardice. He is still refusing to formally resign from the UDP because he's scared of the consequences. He should have the balls to resign from the UDP formally. He should. If I was, I'll resign from the UDP. Why isn't he resign from the UDP formally? He should. In fact, the UDP are accusing him of mismanaging campaign funds.
Really?
So, of course, they are. And I think he should resign from the UDP. You left the UDP. You formed your party or movement, however you might call it. Yet you refuse to resign from the UDP formally. Why?
But the UDP is not telling us that Talib has not resigned from the party.
He hasn't.
You are sure he hasn't resigned?
Did you ever see any letter of resignation? from Talib Ahmed Bensouda to the UDP. Did you see it?
Well, he wouldn't copy a letter to me.
No, but what I'm saying is that it should be public. He should resign from the UDP if he has the balls to do so.
What would happen if he were to resign from the UDP?
Well, he knows. He's scared. He's scared that perhaps he will go for a by-election. Maybe perhaps he will lose his seat at the KMC because he came to the UDP. I don't know. The legality is there. But I think he should resign. So he should have the honor to resign from the UDP formally.
So if he were to resign, officially from the UDP, then we have to go to an election.
I'm not sure of the legalities there, like I said. He knows the reason why he does not. What I'm saying is that if I left the UDP and I form my party, I'll formally resign from the UDP. I'll write a letter and resign from the UDP and resign from my position that I held at the UDP.
Okay.
And he's not doing that. And for me, he is not doing that. And I think that's a cause for concern. But nonetheless, you asked him about the difference between UDP and
NPP and
NPP.
the UMC.
He said the UMC is starting from scratch. I mean, that's a very lame excuse.
Isn't it?
It's a very lame excuse. The UDP started from scratch. NPP started from scratch. And when we asked him about what NPP started from, he said, no, but NPP was contest 2021. NPP is here forever. It's here for, that's why they build bureaus all over the country. It's not here for 2021 elections alone. And the fact that he's saying that in 2016 we did not vote for Barrow, we voted Jammeh out. And you asked in 2021, he said, well, they voted for Barrow. Still, you see, this type of pseudo-analysis is what the problem is. The opposition, including Talib Ahmed Bensouda, have no alternative for the country. So all they could engage in is pseudo-analysis. I listened to pseudo-analysis about how parties should be run and from Liberia, Sierra Leone. Please.
But that's brilliant. That's brilliant.
What is brilliant?
Where the Secretary General does not become anointed flag bearer, I think.
Every country has its own way of doing things, depending on history, depending on culture and political culture. What works in Sierra Leone might not work. If you go to the UK, they have a different system there. America has a different system. Australia has a different system. China has a different system. All works based on their culture, their experience, and their history, and their values, and their aspirations. For the Gambia, what works for us is what works for us.
The
so
Secretary
if you
General
bring it,
being the natural flag bearer.
you can adopt it, but it works for you. But it's gonna crumble at some point because our foundation, the foundations for our politics, doesn't call for that. What we've been used to, what our foundations are used to, is hierarchy. Hierarchy where we have a strong leader at the top who leads and gives strategic direction to the party. If you have a political party and you divide power like that, like separation of powers like that, you'll run into trouble at some point.
Sierra Leone is not running into trouble. Liberia is not running into trouble.
But that is been instilled into their political culture from a very long time.
We can try it.
Yeah, but like I said, no, nothing wrong with trying it. But it's an experiment that can fail as well because we are not used to it. Like today, if you form a political party, most Gambians support a political party because of the leader, not because of leaders in the party. Now you create 3 different leaders in the party, you create confusion. That's a fact. Most Gambians support a political party because of the leader of the party. Now you create a party with 3 different layers of leaders, you create confusion. But it's an experiment worth trying, but I know that is going to run into trouble. But anyway, what I can tell you is that when he sat here yesterday, he did not provide an alternative policy to what we are providing. He said we should wait for the manifesto. We're waiting for the manifesto. We hope it's going to be a good manifesto. We'll see what is in there that is not in the NDP or that is not in other manifestos of other political parties. What we can confirm is that yesterday was a bad outing for him. He could not articulate himself. You asked him a very fundamental question. What are the main problems of this country? And he said, just 3 he should name for you. He said, cost of living. Now, I brought in.
Now I understand why we have a stack of papers.
In fact, when we went on tour across the country,
that's a change, Dr. Ceesay.
No platform talked about cost of living as a problem. They mentioned roads, electricity, presidents providing. If you look at the latest American rice, 9 February, it was 15.16 wholesale. Retail, it depends on where. In Banjul was 15.50.
1,550. Okay.
In Banjul. In Serekunda, 1,650. In Farafanya, 2,150. In Basse, 1,650. This was 9 February. So we've seen a reduction. Even sugar, edible oil has gone down. Onions has gone down. Potatoes, chicken, sugar.
Potatoes and onions have started going down because there was a time when the women were saying they were going up.
Yeah, no, they are going down now. And even if you look at the American rice wholesale, 2nd February, 1,450. It has 1,450 for wholesale. So it means that now what this government is doing through monetary and fiscal policies was stabilizing the prices of basic commodities. Now, then you asked him about, he said the second thing is what? Economic opportunities. That is what he said. He said economic opportunity. When I checked, I realized that
too many papers this morning.
Yeah, just wait.
Yeah.
I have to.
The information is buried somewhere there. We're with Dr. Ismail Ceesay, Minister of Information, Media and Broadcasting Services.
Yes. So when I checked, he said economic opportunities. Gambians are better off today than they were 15 years ago. GDP per capita, which is the most standard measure, has shown that Gambians, on average, economically, are better off today than they were 15 years ago. And he has a clear comparison. Let's look at GDP per capita growth. Nominal GDP per capita. Around 2009, it was $775 to $833 per person, depending on source, before adjusting for inflation. Now, in 2024, it's $888 to $909. That's an increase in nominal income per person over 15 years. Second, purchasing power. In 2009, it was $2,177 per person. Now it is $3,445. That is purchasing power. This is a substantial rise in real output per person after adjusting difference. It means that Gambians are better off today economically than they were 15 years ago. So what is he talking about? And finally, he said healthcare. In fact, if I was an opposition leader and I'm given a chance and ask three things that you think is the problem, he went off the hook. He derailed. He didn't talk about the real issues that the people are yearning for. He is out of touch with the rest of the population because he lives in Kairaba Avenue. Now, he said healthcare. He
lives along Kairaba Avenue?
In a big estate. That is the, President said it. What I'm saying is that he said three things. Cost of living, I've debunked it. Yes, it's a challenge, but we are doing a lot through subsidies, electricity subsidy, fuel subsidy, agricultural subsidy. We've stabilized those funds and other subsidies. He said economic opportunities. Today we are better off than 15 years ago. And finally, he said healthcare. You see, these are all achievements and investments in the healthcare sector. From the number of ambulances that we've increased from 70 to 160 to investments in infrastructure, health infrastructure, in terms of new healthcare facilities built, new healthcare posts built are under construction, the ones that are completed, major healthcare centers under construction. But the most important thing is, in 2016, there were only 60 ambulances, now 153 ambulances, community ambulances. Most villages now have their own ambulance. But then we look at capacity building. We've expanded some of these schools in Bansang, in Mansa Konko, School of Dentistry. It started under this government. It never happened before. The first batch will graduate in 2026. Postgraduate nursing training program in anesthesia, all started now. Postgraduate medical training center did not exist before 2017. Total 111 residents are there. We are going to train our own specialists and our own consultants. Now, you look at the number. Before 2016, we had only 2,247 medical personnel. Now we have over 4,000, almost double. We've employed more medical personnel. But the most important is improved diagnostics. Equipment worth 3.1 million have been purchased. Digital X-ray machines are in all these hospitals now. Banjul, Kanifing, Buyam, Bansang, Farafenye. We have new CT scan machines in Banjul and Bansang. We have renovating. Hospital is cleaner now. You said it yesterday in Banjul. But the most important is what? Endoscopy unit. Never existed before 2017. Now there's a modern and well-equipped endoscopy unit. Cardiology unit never existed before 2017. Now there is a cardiology unit in Banjul. All these things, you are telling me that these are not Miega, urology unit never existed before 2017. Now there's a modern and well-equipped urology unit. Orthopedic services. Before 2017, almost all major orthopedic cases referred to overseas treatment. Now patients come from our sub-region to Gambia to access our orthopedic surgery. Neurological services. Advanced brain and spine surgeries are now performed in the Gambia today. Dialysis unit. Before 2017, there are less than 12 functional dialysis machines. Today, we have state-of-the-art over 20 functional, and they are working 24-hour service. New neonatal intensive care unit, world-class one. Oxygen facilities now, centralized ones. So all these are achievements in the healthcare sector. And you look at the maternal mortality. As of 2013, 433 per 100,000. After 2024 is 239. It has gone down by half. So all these are powerful testament to the President Barrow's government's unwavering dedication to strengthening healthcare sector in the Gambia. And now somebody is telling me, somebody who wants to be president doesn't know these things happening in this country, because all they are interested in, all they are fixing their sight on is how to get to Marina Parade. But it's not going to be that easy, because the president has delivered. There are 1 million reasons why Gambians will vote for President Barrow and take him back to State House. Like I said, the amount of explosive development the man has embarked on, it's not only Gambia, but in the sub-region, no country is doing it at the moment. No country. In every sector, roads, electricity, water, education, healthcare, sports, youth empowerment, women empowerment, you name it, at the same time. To top it all, democracy, the stability, the peacefulness, the tolerance, all these things combined will take President Barrow back to State House in 2016.
I think where he spoke about President Barrow not running was when he cited the Sepras poll, which suggests, and you referred to it, that suggested that 58% of the population, don't want him to pursue a third term.
No, what they said that they said him running for a third term will negatively affect our democracy. That's different from not wanting to run for third term. Now, and what I can tell you is that it's a perception. For example, one of the questions asked was, who is the better president? Who is the worst president of the three presidents? And the majority said President Barrow. It means these perceptions sometimes are influenced by information. People need information to make proper perceptions. Anybody in their right mind will know that in terms of human rights, in terms of development record, President Barrow is ahead of all these presidents in terms of governance as well. So opinion polls are perceptions. You can take them, you read the data, you make sense of it, but it doesn't mean that people don't want the president to run again for office. If you, today, just simply, sometimes the framing of the question also in surveys is important.
Absolutely.
Ask a Gambian, do you want the president to run or not to run? The majority will tell you they want him to run again because they've seen the development he has brought. I think now, across the board, everybody has agreed. Before, you could say, oh, well, what has he done? But now, even himself has agreed. Him, the Lord Mayor, that the president has done so many improvements in the infrastructure sector. But everything starts with infrastructure. Development starts with infrastructure, everything. Even before West Coast, you cannot have a proper West Coast studio if you don't build infrastructure first.
Okay. Do you know anything about it? Barrow invited to serve in Global Council for Political Renewal. That's on the Standard.
I saw it. I don't have the details about that.
So for once, the Standard has beaten you to information about the president.
It is. But I think one thing I would also want to bring to your attention.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Is apart from the electricity access to over 700 villages, which has now helped us to reach 90% access, as we promised as a government.
You should have done that in 2025.
Yes, yeah. But we are also bringing electricity to schools and hospitals. We've recently just expanded, the president has recently also inaugurated solar-powered 1,000 schools with solar and 100 health facilities. This is also ongoing as part of the ECOWAS project. But also another thing also is the Gambia prison services. The president has pardoned 56, I think, 56 prisoners. I think it's important that the public knows that of these 56, the age ranges from 19 to 43. They are all male. Offenses listed include stealing conspiracy, possession of prohibited drugs, willful damage of property, and so on and so forth. Fines range from 50,000 to 1 year. Then some were majority were Gambian. We have also some Senegalese, Conakry Guineans, and some.
Should they not be deported immediately?
Yeah, they all will be deported.
Okay.
The non-Gambian will be deported after being pardoned, but the majority were Gambian. So this also took place. I've seen people saying that why no women?
Yeah, exactly. Why no women?
What happened is that the process of pardon is very transparent and very rigorous. Now, they have a committee called the Prerogative of Mercy Committee. It's 3 people in that committee. The bishop, who is the head of this Islamic Council, the Christian Council, the president of the Islamic Council, Supreme Islamic Council, and the Attorney General. Now, they are supported by a prisons committee. They do all the vetting. I mean, there's a set of criteria. So if no woman meets the criteria, then obviously you cannot bring them there. But there's a set of criteria. It's very transparent. Now, unfortunately, most of the criteria are mostly this low crime, like stealing and most women that are in mile 2, they're not that much, in fact, that are there, but normally they don't fall under this category that are supposed to be part. That is why sometimes in most cases it's because of their number. So, but there are fixed criteria, and if you don't meet the criteria, you cannot definitely be.
Okay, so when we hear the president, exercising his prerogative of mercy, it's actually, other people thinking for him and
it's not thinking for him. It's a process. There are clear guidelines in place.
They come and say,
and these guidelines,
pardon Dr. Ismaila, pardon Peter, pardon Martin, pardon Aji.
But those people don't also do it at their discretion. The president it is his discretion, sole discretion, to pardon anybody who he wants. But for the purpose of transparency and fair play and rule of law, he has set up committees that has set guidelines and criteria that they really follow in a transparent manner, and they give the final list to say these are the ones that meet the criteria that have been set up. And he now also looks at the criteria, looks at the names individual, and looks at their offenses and see whether they really qualify or they deserve to be pardoned, and he endorses it. So this is how it works in a very transparent manner.
Fantastic. Well, listen, you have a press conference to address.
Yes,
in 5 minutes.
Yes.
So we'll let you say anything, just finally, if you have anything more to say.
No, I mean, it's just to say we have to support the president. On it, definitely, Peter, with the amount of development going on, the president is delivering above expectation. And many people have been surprised. I've seen people online who never supported the president before now applauding him for what he's bringing to the people. People, I mean, go to rural Gambia.
What's happening there?
Electricity is big.
Okay, all right.
You Peter, yow tey su courant demee off guddi dang dee complain ba suba. Ñi nga xam ne musuñ ko am seen whole life. Léegi ñu am ko. Fii nga xam ne tey sax su laa demee off 5 hours su ñëwee ñëpp a dee kontaan. Hey, laaj ñëw na ku nekkaa ngi daw. Ñi nga xam ne ñoom musuñ koo am sax. Léegi ñoom ñëpp am nañ ko léegi. I think that's a huge achievement with the roads yum sampa, hospitals yi, schools yi. Mu ngi transform Gambia.
So we have something to celebrate, and we all should celebrate our independence anniversary tomorrow.
Tomorrow, everybody should be grey.
In what?
Grey.
Come on. I'm going to burn everything grey I have in the house. All right.
In the studio, this studio is NPP. You've seen.
We'll start by burning the studio down. All right, Doc. Thanks for coming.
sant yàlla. looy xaar utal Wave nga scan nga fay nag doo ci yokku dara.
Oil. The company have filling stations across the country, and our rates are relatively cheaper than anyone else across the country. Jar Oil is the biggest producer and distributor of cement in the country with the most competitive prices in the market.
In the Gambia, we all move to different paces. Time is money, convenience is power, and now both are in your hands. No more long lines, no more late payments, no more missed chances. Not anymore. Because now the Gambia has its own super app, Zap. One app, one tap, endless convenience. Send money instantly, pay your bills in seconds, shop without borders, pay your rides, order your meal, buy your ticket, deposit and withdraw money for absolutely free. No extra charges, no hidden fees, only on Zap Super App. This is not just convenience. This is confidence. This is the future in your hands. And the best part, Zap is born right here. Built for us, designed for every Gambian home, every Gambian dream. So don't wait in the past. Step into the future. Download Zap today on App Store and Play Store and enjoy endless free services. Call us today on our toll-free number 1666 or on 260-0001. Zap, all in one, all for you. Tap in, zap in.